Success is not something that must be chased. It is something drawn to who you become. It does not respond to noise or desperation. It listens for alignment. It follows those who have chosen to rise with integrity, even when no one is watching. There is no shortcut. There is no trick. The journey begins the moment you understand that lasting success is never about the outcome. It is about the character you cultivate in the pursuit. To attract success, you must first respect yourself. That means refusing to live in a way that pleases everyone but fulfills no one, especially not you. You must begin each day with discipline, not because others demand it, but because your vision requires it. You must take responsibility for your steps, your decisions, and even your failures. No one will hand you greatness. You must rise to meet it through effort, clarity, and quiet consistency. True success finds those who do not fear the climb. It arrives when your mindset is steady, your purpose is clear, and your values are firm. When you stop chasing outcomes and start embodying the qualities you once admired in others, patience, courage, vision, restraint, you become a person that success trusts, and trust must always be earned. So build the habits that strengthen you. Speak words that reflect truth. Walk paths that align with who you are becoming, not just where you wish to be. The world gives little to those who only wait, but it yields greatly to those who become ready. Success is not attracted to perfection. It is drawn to those who are consistent, centered, and committed to becoming better than yesterday. You no longer chase approval, you build self-respect, because you have come to understand that the applause of others is fleeting, but the relationship you have with yourself is permanent. Approval can be manipulated, earned for the wrong reasons, or withdrawn without warning, but self-respect is built brick by brick through the choices you make when no one is watching. There comes a moment in life when you grow tired of shrinking your truth to fit the comfort of others. You stop molding your voice to sound agreeable and begin allowing it to sound authentic. You stop measuring your value through the lens of acceptance and start weighing it by the depth of your own integrity. When you live only to please others, you silence yourself. But when you begin to live by principle, even when it costs you popularity, you reclaim your dignity. This transformation is not loud, but it is powerful. You begin to walk differently, not with arrogance, but with quiet certainty. You understand that rejection does not define you, and praise does not complete you. Your standards rise, not to impress, but to protect. You surround yourself with those who see your worth without needing to be convinced. You choose work that reflects your values, not just your resume, and in moments of uncertainty, you return not to the noise of public opinion, but to the stillness of your own conscience. This is how true confidence is born, not in being liked, but in being alive. And when you learn to honor yourself first, you no longer beg for validation. You become the kind of person whose presence commands respect, not because you demand it, but because you've built it from within. You take responsibility instead of blaming circumstances, because you've come to understand that while you may not control everything that happens to you, you are always responsible for how you respond. The world is filled with hardship, inequality, and unexpected trials. But progress only begins the moment you stop pointing fingers and start asking, what can I do with what I have? Blame is easy. It gives temporary relief, a false comfort, a way to avoid the burden of effort. But nothing changes when we wait for the world to adjust to our needs. Change begins with ownership, the willingness to confront failure, to stand tall in discomfort, and to stop running from the truth of our role in our own outcomes. You realize that blaming the past only weakens the power of the present. And as long as you surrender your authority to outside forces, you will remain a prisoner to them. True strength is found not in control, but in accountability. When you take responsibility, you reclaim your freedom. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and begin shaping progress out of imperfection. You recognize that growth lives on the other side of uncomfortable truths, that your habits, your choices, your mindset, and your effort shape far more of your future than circumstances ever will. Life may hand you unfairness, loss, or limitation, but responsibility teaches you to rise anyway, to build despite the brokenness, to act despite the fear, and to lead despite the lack of guarantee. It is not about fault. It is about power. The quiet, unshakable power that comes when you say, "It starts with me." And in that moment, you move from being a victim of life to becoming its author. You stay consistent even when no one is watching, because you understand that true strength is built in silence, not in spotlight. The path to greatness is not paved with applause. It is paved with discipline, persistence, and the repeated decision to show up, even when recognition is absent. When you act with purpose while the world is quiet, you are not simply building habits, you are building character. You are telling yourself, "I matter enough to stay loyal to my goals, even when no one else sees the work I'm doing." In a world obsessed with visibility, your consistency becomes your quiet rebellion, a reminder that real progress is earned in private before it is ever celebrated in public. You no longer chase moments of validation because you trust the process more than the praise. Consistency when no one is watching is a reflection of who you truly are, not the image you present, but the substance you uphold. It's found in the early mornings, the unseen efforts, the quiet decisions to stay focused while others drift. It's what builds momentum, sharpens your discipline, and prepares you for opportunities long before they arrive. You don't show up out of pressure, but out of principle. You understand that excellence isn't an act, it's a habit. And those habits repeated day after day eventually become a foundation so strong that not even failure can shake it. When you are consistent without an audience, you are no longer performing. You are becoming. And that version of you, steady, dependable, unshaken, is the very person success is drawn to. Not what defines you. The journey is. When you fixate only on arriving, you risk building a life based on outcomes, not values. You chase milestones and measure worth by external achievements, often overlooking the transformation taking place within you. But when your focus shifts toward becoming, growing in wisdom, integrity, resilience, and purpose, you begin to understand that true success is not a moment. It's a way of moving through life. You stop racing to the finish line and start showing up to each day with intention. You stop asking, "When will I get there?" and start asking, "Who am I becoming in this process?" In that question lies your freedom and your power. To focus on becoming is to choose depth over speed, substance over image. It means you are no longer obsessed with how fast you can achieve something, but how fully you can grow into it. You see setbacks not as barriers, but as part of the shaping. You stop trying to control every outcome and instead cultivate the kind of character that can endure any outcome. And when the world applauds your accomplishments, you smile quietly, not because of the recognition, but because you know what it cost you to become the person who could earn it with grace. Arrival may bring celebration, but becoming brings transformation. And in the end, it is not where you've landed that matters most. It's the person you chose to become along the way.